Have you ever stopped to think about the weight of your name? Not just the letters that identify you in the world, but the sound, the vibration, the history it carries. Your name is not just a label, it's a code, a portal, an echo that resonates from the moment you were born, perhaps even before. Every time someone pronounces your name, something moves, in the air, in your mind, in your soul. It's as if the universe, by naming you, had etched a signature onto you, a mark that connects the physical to the metaphysical, the conscious to the collective unconscious. What if I told you that your name is more than a word, that it is a living symbol, an archetype that dances between your inner shadow and the awakening of your consciousness? Think about it. When you hear your name, something vibrates. It's not just the sound hitting your ears. It's something deeper, something that touches the pineal gland, that small crystal in the center of your brain that the ancients called the seat of the soul. Neuroscience tells us that it is sensitive to vibrations, to rhythms, to frequencies. When someone says your name, it's as if a specific note were played in a cosmic symphony, activating parts of you that you didn't even know existed. Jung spoke of the collective unconscious as an ocean of shared memories, a place where archetypes live and breathe. Your name is an anchor in that ocean, a thread that connects you to something greater, something that transcends time. But what is a name, really? It's not just a sound your parents chose. It's a pattern, a forgotten spiritual code that carries the essence of who you are. In many traditions, the name is sacred. In Kabbalah, Hebrew letters are more than symbols. They are vibrations that shape reality. In Hinduism, mantras are sounds that align the body with the cosmos. And your name. It is your personal mantra, a unique frequency that resonates with your psyche. When you pray, when you enter a state of contemplation, the sound of your name can become a prayer, an alignment with the universe. It's no wonder that in so many cultures, the name is given with care, as if it were a prophecy, a traced destiny. Now, dive deeper. Jung said that archetypes are the forces that shape the human psyche. The hero, the sage, the shadow, all of them live within you, and your name is like a key that activates them. Think of your name as a Jungian symbol, a form that evokes something greater. When you were a child, perhaps you felt your name as a weight, something that defined you before you even understood who you were. As you grew, it became a mirror, reflecting your inner shadow, the emotional traumas you carry, the parts of you that you hide even from yourself. But it also reflects your light, your capacity for spiritual healing, your potential for awakening. What if your name were a door that leads to the collective unconscious, where all names, all stories, all vibrations meet? Neuroscience gives us a clue. When you hear a repetitive sound, like your name, your brain creates new neural pathways. It's as if each mention of your name were sculpting something in you, shaping your identity. The pineal gland, sensitive to these vibrations, amplifies this. It's like an antenna, picking up signals that go beyond the physical. When you meditate on your name, when you pronounce it with intention, you are tuning that antenna, connecting to something that mystics call divine, but that Jung called the self, the center of your psyche, where all archetypes converge. But there's a mystery here. Why does your name affect you so much? Why does hearing it sometimes bring peace and other times discomfort? Because your name carries your story. Every time it was pronounced, with love, with anger, with pride, with pain, it absorbed those emotions. It became a vessel for your emotional traumas, but also for your healing. Think of your name as a stained glass window in a cathedral. Each syllable is a color, each sound is a fragment of light. When you pronounce it, it's as if light passes through that stained glass, revealing patterns that tell the story of your soul and the secret society. Perhaps it's not a conspiracy of men, but an intelligence that knows the power of names, that uses them as codes to awaken something in us. Now, look inward. Have you ever felt that your name doesn't fully belong to you, as if it were bigger than you, as if it carried echoes of other lives, other stories? Jung spoke of synchronicity, those moments when the universe seems to conspire to show you something. Your name is a trigger for synchronicity. Perhaps you've already noticed how it appears in strange moments, in a conversation, in a dream, in a coincidence that doesn't explain itself. That's not chance. It's the collective unconscious speaking, using your name as a thread in a larger web, a web that connects you to all who came before, to all who will come after. What if your name were a tool, not just to identify you, but to transform you? Neuroscience shows that words have power. When you hear your name, Areas of your brain linked to identity and emotion light up. It's as if your name were a command, a code that activates your psyche. When you use it with intention, in a prayer, in a meditation, in a moment of introspection, you are reprogramming your mind, aligning it with the archetypes that live within you. The secret society, this invisible force that shapes forgotten spiritual codes, knew this. They knew that the name is more than a word. It's a portal, a bridge between the ego and the self, between the shadow and the light. Now feel the sound of your name. Close your eyes for a moment and let it echo in your mind. It's not just a word, it's a vibration, a wave that propagates through your being, touching layers you rarely visit. Your name is an archetype in itself, a unique form that carries the essence of your existence. Jung said that archetypes are like molds of the psyche, patterns that give shape to our desires, fears, and dreams. Your name is one of those molds, sculpted by your story, but also by the stories of all who came before you. It is an echo of the collective unconscious, a bridge that connects your individual life to the vast ocean of humanity. What if your name were a map, not a map of streets, but a guide to your psyche? Each letter, each syllable, is like a coordinate, pointing to parts of you that you haven't yet explored. Neuroscience tells us that the brain responds uniquely to the sound of your own name. When you hear it, areas linked to identity, memory, and emotion light up. It's as if your name were a switch, activating deep circuits in your brain. The pineal gland, that small antenna in the center of your skull, amplifies this. It captures the vibrations of your name as if they were a signal, a coded message that resonates with the forgotten spiritual codes that shape who you are. But why does this matter? Because your name is not just yours. It carries the inner shadow, that part of you that holds the emotional traumas, the fears, the pains you tried to bury. Jung said that the shadow is not something to be feared, but understood. When you hear your name pronounced with anger, with love, with indifference, it absorbs those emotions, becoming a mirror of your psyche. Each time you use it, you are dialoguing with that shadow. Spiritual healing begins there, in the moment you face what your name carries, not just the light of your identity, but the dark parts, the ones you avoid. Think of it as a stained glass window. Your name is like the light that passes through it, revealing colors and shapes that tell your story. Some colors are bright, the moments of joy, of achievement. Others are dark, the traumas, the losses, the doubts. But together, they form a pattern, an archetype that is yours alone. When you meditate on your name, when you pronounce it with intention, you are illuminating that stained glass, bringing to light what was hidden. It's as if your name were a prayer, a sound that aligns your mind with the cosmos, a command that activates the circuits of your pineal gland, connecting you to the collective unconscious. And the secret society? They knew this. I'm not talking about a conspiracy of men, but an intelligence that operates through time, using names as tools to awaken consciousness. In all cultures, the act of naming is sacred. In the Bible, Adam names the animals, giving form to creation. In ancient Egypt, knowing someone's true name was to have power over them. Why? Because the name is a code, a key that unlocks a person's essence. The secret society, this invisible force, understands this. They encoded names as Jungian symbols, as portals to the self, the center of the psyche where all parts of you, light and shadow, meet. Now think about synchronicity. Have you ever noticed how your name seems to appear in moments that don't explain themselves? Perhaps in a conversation, in a book you opened by chance, in a dream that doesn't make sense. Jung said that synchronicity is the universe speaking, the collective unconscious manifesting in the physical world. Your name is a trigger for these moments, a thread in the web that connects you to something greater. When you hear it, when you pronounce it, you are pulling that thread, activating a connection with the archetypes that live within you. It's as if your name were a password, a code that unlocks doors in the unconscious. And neuroscience confirms this. When you hear your name, your brain doesn't just register the sound, it creates a cascade of reactions, activating areas linked to memory, emotion, identity. That's why hearing your name can make you feel so alive, so present, but also so vulnerable. It exposes you, pulls you from the surface to the depths, where the inner shadow waits. But that vulnerability is the beginning of healing. When you face what your name carries, the pains, the traumas, the hopes, you begin to integrate the shadow, to transform what was heavy into wisdom. What if your name were more than a sound? What if it were a tool for transformation? In many spiritual traditions, changing a name is changing destiny. Monks receive new names when entering a monastery. Initiates in mystical rituals adopt names that reflect their new identity. Why? Because the name is a living archetype, a vibration that shapes who you are. When you use it with intention, when you pronounce it with awareness, you are reprogramming your psyche, aligning it with the self. The secret society, this intelligence that operates in the background of reality, knew this. They knew that the name is more than a word. It's a portal, a bridge between the ego and the divine, between the shadow and the light. Now, dive deeper into the sound of your name. Close your eyes and let it resonate, not as a word, but as a wave that crosses your mind, your body, your soul. Each syllable is a vibration, a frequency that dances with the archetypes hidden in the collective unconscious. Your name is not just a call from the external world. It's an internal invitation, a portal that leads you to the center of your psyche, where the inner shadow and the light of the self meet. Jung said that the self is the archetype of wholeness, the point where all parts of you, the pains, the joys, the emotional traumas, unite to form something greater. Your name is the key that opens that door, a forgotten spiritual code that resonates with the essence of who you are. Think of your name as a river. It flows, carries stories, memories, emotions. Every time it is pronounced, it moves, shaping the landscape of your psyche. Neuroscience shows us that the brain is sensitive to specific sounds, especially your own name. When you hear it, areas like the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala light up, connecting identity and emotion. The pineal gland, that small antenna in the center of your brain, captures these vibrations as if they were a cosmic signal. It's as if your name were a note in a larger symphony, a melody that aligns your mind with the rhythm of the universe. And when you pronounce it with intention, like a prayer, you are tuning into that rhythm, activating the deep circuits of your soul. But why does your name have so much power? Because it is a Jungian symbol, a living form that carries the story of your existence. Jung said that symbols are bridges between the conscious and the unconscious, and your name is the most personal symbol of all. It carries your inner shadow, the emotional traumas you buried, the parts of you that you reject. But it also carries your light, your capacity for spiritual healing, your potential for the awakening of consciousness. When you hear your name, you are not just hearing a sound. You are hearing a call to integrate those parts, to bring the shadow into the light, to find the balance that Jung called individuation. And the secret society? They understand the power of names. I'm not talking about a conspiracy of men, but an intelligence that operates through time, using names as tools to awaken something in us. In many cultures, the name is treated as sacred. In African tradition, a child's name is chosen based on visions, dreams, ancestors. In Buddhism, mantras are repeated to align the mind with the cosmos. Your name is your personal mantra, a vibration that resonates with the archetypes that live within you. When you pronounce it with awareness, you are participating in an ancient ritual, a dialogue with the collective unconscious. Now think about synchronicity. Have you ever noticed how your name seems to appear in moments that don't make sense? Perhaps in a random conversation, in a book you opened by chance, in a dream that left you unsettled. Jung said that synchronicity is the universe speaking, the collective unconscious manifesting in the physical world. Your name is the trigger for these moments, a thread that pulls the web of destiny. When it appears, it's as if reality is calling you to look deeper, to decipher the code it carries. And the church, with its symbols and its energy, amplifies this. The sound of your name in a cathedral, echoing among stained glass and stones, is like a prayer that resonates with the divine. What if you could use your name as a tool for transformation? Neuroscience tells us that the repetition of words, especially your own name, can restructure the brain. Each time you pronounce it with intention, you are creating new neural pathways, dissolving old patterns, healing old wounds. The pineal gland, sensitive to vibrations, amplifies this process, connecting you to frequencies that go beyond the physical. It's as if your name were a software and your mind, the hardware. When you use it with awareness, you are reprogramming your psyche, aligning it with the archetypes that live within you. But there's something even deeper. Your name is not just yours. It carries echoes of other names, other lives, other stories. In the collective unconscious, all names are connected, like notes in a larger symphony. When you reflect on your name, you are dialoguing with that symphony, with the archetypes that shaped humanity. The secret society, This intelligence that operates in the background knew this. They knew that the name is more than a word. It's a portal, a bridge between the ego and the self, between the shadow and the light. Each time you pronounce it, you are participating in an ancient ritual, an act of creation that connects you to the whole. What if all this were intentional? What if your name were a key, chosen not just by your parents, but by a greater intelligence? Each time you use it, you are activating that key, opening doors within you. Spiritual healing begins there, in the moment you recognize the power of your name. It's your guide, your mirror, your mantra. It's the proof that you are part of something greater, a web that connects us all. And the secret society? It's there, whispering through the names, guiding you to awakening.